Rochester, fellow Toastmasters, and our honored guest. I just want to start off by saying thank you for inviting me into Toastmasters. I've really felt welcome. You've all taken time to get to know me, and I'm really looking forward to improving my skills as a speaker and the confidence that's needed. And I look at some of our experienced Toastmasters here, and I'm hopeful someday that I'll be as good as you in front of a crowd of people. 3 weeks ago, Jeremy asked if I was ready yet to give my icebreaker, and I reluctantly said, yeah, I think I am. I got to get this thing out of the way anyway. And I kind of figured that maybe there was probably a bylaw somewhere in Toastmasters that if you didn't do it within a certain amount of time, they'd boot you out. So I thought I better get going. And then last week, Hannah gave her speech, and she mentioned how it was 6 months before she did her icebreaker, and I was so disappointed that I had 4 months I could have sat in that chair and not did anything. So, but it was time to get started. And a while back I read that it's okay to be a poor public speaker, but you don't need to get up in front of a crowd and prove it. And that's a pretty good summary of the way I've always felt about getting in front of a crowd. And I don't know why that is, but as I was putting this together, I thought back to an experience I had. I was in the 5th grade. I was in 4-H at the time. And at the end of the season, all the local 4-H clubs would get together, and they'd put on this program for family and friends in a big auditorium. Every club had to do a skit. And you would get judged, and there'd be a first, second, and third place award that they would hand out. And our club had our skit. We were ready to go. I knew my lines forwards and backwards. And we were backstage rehearsing just before we were ready to go on. Everything was going good. One of my friends came up to me. This particular individual was a talented singer. Even though he was only in the 5th grade, he had been in several musicals by then. And he was quite comfortable in front of a crowd. And he asked me a question. He said, "Have you ever done this before, Denny?" And I said, "No, I haven't." And he says, "Well, you're probably going to get stage fright," very nonchalantly, and then he walked away. So that's the thought I had in my head about 30 seconds before I went on stage. And we were on stage, everybody's doing their lines, everything's going good. It's my turn to say my line, and it was magic. It was just, my memory was erased. I couldn't remember my line for the life of me. There I sat, all my fellow 4-H members were staring at me, waiting for me to say my line. I'm looking at the crowd, this full auditorium. They're waiting for me to say something. You know, my family is in the audience. Peers are in the audience. And it seemed like an eternity. It was probably only about a minute, but there was just dead silence for about a minute. Me standing, everybody staring at me. And finally, I blurted something out, and somehow we managed to get through the skit. But it was quite a humiliating experience, and something I don't ever forget. So sometimes I wonder if that maybe has had an influence of my reluctance to step out in front of a crowd. So I also want to just say that the hardest thing about being a Toastmaster is when that alarm clock goes off at 5 o'clock in the morning. There's a lot of times when I feel like, well, maybe I'll just skip today. But I'm not a morning person at all. I have a job. I'm a financial advisor. I've been doing that for probably 17 years. I really enjoy my work. I get to work with families, helping them map out their futures and plan for their goals. And usually my day starts later and it ends later. People want to meet later in the day, maybe after work, and so sometimes the day gets extended out a little bit. I'm amazed. I've been doing this for 2 months now, waking up early on Wednesday mornings, coming here. I'm amazed at how many people are out and about at this time of the morning. They can't be going to work. There must be Toastmaster meetings going on. I just turned 39 in April. I'm married to a wonderful woman. 2 weeks ago, we celebrated our 16th wedding anniversary. Prior to that, we dated for 6 years. So we've been together a long time. If you do the math, that says we were high school sweethearts when we first started dating. We have 3 kids, ages 12, 11, and 7, all of them girls. So you can imagine at those ages, all of them girls, there's a little bit of drama going on in our house right now. I've been somewhat preconditioned for it. I grew up smack dab in the middle of an older and a younger sister. So I know a little bit about what's going on, and I have a wood shop in my garage, which is my home away from home, that I can go to and hang out. People ask me all the time, what do you build in your wood shop? What do you make in your wood shop? And my answer is absolutely nothing. So we're looking forward to the summer months. We enjoy family bike rides together. We do some boating on the river and enjoy hanging out on the beaches of the Mississippi River on a summer evening. During the school year, it's all about running the kids all over. They got a lot of activities that they're involved in, and the school year is very hectic, and so we're really looking forward to a couple of weeks from now when the school year is out. I was raised by two loving parents. My folks moved around a lot when I was younger. I attended 3 schools prior to Wabasha. We moved to Wabasha in 4th grade, so I was in 3 different schools prior to that. It was difficult making new friends all the time, but we managed. And my dad was my principal from 6th grade all the way through graduation. So suffice to say, I had to toe the line a little bit. And my mom was also a teacher in another school nearby. They were loving parents, like I said. They taught us many lessons. My mom taught me the lesson of frugality very well. She could pinch pennies with the best of them. When I was up for confirmation, it was about 8th grade, she said I needed a new pair of dress shoes. Dress shoes were kind of expensive. I don't want to buy dress shoes every year. You're a growing boy. So she made sure she bought me a pair of shoes that were several sizes too big. I still haven't grown into them to this day. But all in all, I could summarize my story as a fortunate one. I've been blessed with many good things. I've had a great family that raised me, a great family of my own, and a career that I enjoy waking up every morning and going to work. So I have no complaints.